Hello and welcome to More Cooking with Steam. My name is Captain Monty McAllister and I will be one of your chefs for today. And today I'm going to be making Monty's pumpkin cheesecake in my instant cauldron, my instant pot. So we'll be cooking with steam here, and the first thing that we're going to do is set up our crust. But before I do that, I'm going to get my 6-inch springform pan, and I've lined it with wax paper, or you can use parchment paper, is fine. So make sure that you get your nice circle on the bottom and line the sides. I will also post, because I am in mundane life a math teacher, I will post for you what the dimensions are that you need to cut, because I am nerdy that way. So first of all, again, line up your springform pan. So I've already pre-done that here for you. And the next step is to make the crust. The crust here, we're using some ginger snaps, because ginger snaps and pumpkin are always good together. So I use that and crush that in a food processor, and I've got roughly about 1.5 cups worth of ginger snaps here. To that I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of melted butter. So pour that in there and make our nice crust. And once that is all nice and uniformly stirred together, we'll just press that into our springform pan on the bottom, and just a wee bit on the sides as well. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Make sure, I'm going to blind bake my crust here. So I've got the oven preheated to 325 degrees Fahrenheit, and once I've got that all baked, we'll go ahead and, I think that's pretty good over there. So we'll throw all of that lovely sweet and gingery crust into our pan, and usually, I'll use all of it. And we will want to press that pretty firmly in the bottom of our pan, so as such, and a bit up the sides. Just so all of our nice pumpkin filling does not leak out of our pan. So make sure that you press it really well. You can use, I'm just using a spoon because I've got a small pan. Otherwise you can use the bottom of a steel measuring cup to get it really nice and packed in there. You can use a graham cracker crust or whatever you like. I know that I haven't tried it yet, but maybe in the future I'll make a cheesecake with a crust made out of animal crackers. I've heard that's kind of pretty good. Or I was thinking about using vanilla wafers also, so you can experiment. That's all part of being steampunk, where you can be the mad scientist in the kitchen. So we've got that. I think that's a pretty good crust there with our ginger snaps. So
could you use chocolate graham crackers?
Yes, you could use chocolate graham crackers. Oh, that would be good too.
Like chocolate.
Chocolate pumpkin cheesecake. Oh, that's a good idea, Professor. So we've got it all pressed in there. So we will pop that into the oven for 15 minutes. Okay. All right. Next step. As the crust is cooling out of the oven, I'm going to make the filling now. And the filling does consist of 2 bricks or 16 ounces of cream cheese. And before I do anything with that one, I'm going to mix the cream cheese and 2/3 cups of sugar. Put those together. And mix those for 1 minute with a hand mixer. You probably don't want to use a stand mixer, because that usually incorporates too much air and you're going to get a lot of bubbles in your cheesecake. So we're going to go ahead and do that for 1 minute. And so now that we've got our cream cheese and sugar all mixed up for only 1 minute, and make sure with your ingredients, especially if you're using baking a cheesecake, is that all of your ingredients should be at room temperature. So don't do it cold, because sometimes that doesn't make it as creamy or give you a different consistency if you're using everything cold. Your eggs, your cream cheese especially for that. Okay, next thing that we want to do is add in your eggs. So it does take 2 eggs. Actually, I'll just crack them in here first just to make sure and put them separately. And again, make sure that your eggs and your cheese are all room temperature. But don't keep your eggs out too long, because you don't want them to get spoiled. So, nice 2 eggs. And I'm going to put in my spices. I'm going to put in my spices as well. And what I've got here for spices, and I will post the recipe here in a wee bit. I've got 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, I've got 1 teaspoon of ginger, I've got a 1/4 teaspoon of ground cloves, and a 1/4 teaspoon of freshly ground nutmeg. So if you can use freshly ground, that's probably the best. So I'll throw all the spices in there. I will throw my eggs in here, and I will want to beat that for 1 minute. And it's always good to set your timer for this, because you don't want to incorporate too much air into your cheesecake filling. So I'm going to start my timer, and alright, next I'm going to add into that, I've got some cornstarch. I've got 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. I'll throw that in there as well. And 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. Give it a little bit of tanginess there for you. And again, mix that for another minute. I'm going to pause that a bit, and our last ingredient, or actually one of our other ingredients here, I've got 2/3 of a cup of pumpkin, so I'll put that in there, plop.
Did you put vanilla in already?
No, I was going to do that next. I'll put in some vanilla. And that takes 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. And I'll just eyeball it. I like vanilla. And a pinch of salt. And a pinch of salt. Wee bit of salt. Make it all nice up there. Make it be all chef-like. And continue beating that. Now my crust has cooled off sufficiently, and we're just going to get our lovely pumpkin cheesecake batter here and pour that into our prepared pan. And I am using a 6-inch springform pan. If you've got a wee bit larger pan, just make the adjustments for that. Just be sure not to overflow your pan, but you can fill it up pretty close to the top there. And level that out so you don't have any big parts that will be making it not very flat when we're cooking it. So just bang it on the counter for a few times to get all the air bubbles out, because otherwise it won't be nice and smooth if all the air bubbles are there. So. And then off to the steaming. Now, with my Instant Pot, I will want to make sure that I've got water in there for, of course, with cooking with steam. So I'm going to put a cup of water on the bottom of my Instant Pot. 1 cup of water goes in there, and I do have the trivet in my Instant Pot as well. to make sure that the bottom does not get scorched. I'll pour that in there, and I will set that, let me look at my recipe here, on high pressure. So turn that on. Okay, our next step then, I do have the entire springform pan just encased in aluminum foil, and I like doing that just because with the steaming, it just prevents any of the moisture getting into the cheesecake, either through the crust or condensation on the top. So once the water is beginning to boil here, I'm just going to go ahead and put the entire cheesecake in the Instant Pot. I'm going to go ahead and close it as well as the pressure builds up. And again, make sure that you put the steam vent where it's supposed to be, and we wait for 39 minutes. And presto, after 39 minutes, we just let that cool naturally until the button drops over here and all the pressure is released naturally. So we'll open that up. Ha.
So do we sing the song Under Pressure?
It's under pressure, dun 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 dun. Alright, and we take our cheesecake out and just let that cool for a wee bit. And when it's good enough to put in the refrigerator to let it cool, we'll go ahead and do so, and we'll be back later when it's all nice and cool and ready for dessert. Now, once the cheesecake has been cooling for a wee bit, where it's nice and warm to the touch, make sure that you take a knife and go around the sides just to loosen it a wee bit. Make sure that the cheesecake will come out of the pan. So just carefully go all the way around the circumference of the pan just to loosen it and make sure that your cheesecake will pop out of the pan. So we'll leave that and then off to the refrigerator to cool it off. Now, when everything's pretty much cooled off, just go ahead and carefully peel back the paper around the cheesecake and cut into slices and enjoy.
Ooh, we will.
Greetings, steampunks. Welcome to Cooking with Steam Part 2. And once again, I am using my Instapot, which is my favorite cauldron, to make rotisserie chicken. It's like rotisserie chicken, only you make it in your Instapot. We start out by making up our spice mixture. It includes 1 tablespoon of Greek seasoning, 3/4 teaspoon of Italian seasoning, paprika, garlic powder, onion powder, and salt. We take a 3.5 pound chicken and rub it with our spice mixture both inside and out. In our Instapot, we set it to saute, and we place 1 tablespoon of olive oil in the bottom of the pot. Once the oil starts to shimmer, we will place our chicken in there breast side down for 5 minutes. Once we saute our chicken for 5 minutes on the breast side, we flip it over and saute it for another 3 minutes. Ooh, it's starting to look all nice and golden and yummy. All right, my timer is over. And my chicken looks like it's ready for the next step. I have pulled the chicken out of the Instapot, and I have a measuring cup with 14.5, 15 ounces of white wine. If you did not want to use white wine, you could also use chicken broth. I'm going to take this and add it to my pot. And I will use my wooden spatula to stir up the crispiness that is on the bottom of the pot, loosen it all up. All right, that looks pretty good. And I will place the rack in the pot, and I will place the chicken on the rack. The chicken is now in the pot on top of the rack, and I am going to set to manual and 25 minutes. High pressure, 25 minutes. I will place my lid on the pot, seal it, and make sure the valve is set. Now we will wait for the Instapot to come to temperature and process for 25 minutes. And this is me with my wombat and a good book. And we are just going to chill for 25 minutes. All right, my pot has let me know that the 25 minutes of high pressure is done. And now we are just going to let the pressure cooker naturally cool off. And we're going to do a natural release. So that means eventually that little button is going to drop. And when that drops, the pressure will be released. All right, so at about 20 minutes, the pressure valve released, and I'm going to flip this and no additional steam comes out, so that means my chicken is ready. Ooh, doesn't that look yummy and steamy? I'm going to pull it out and let it rest on a platter. So my chicken is out, and I'm letting it rest for a few minutes while I make some gravy. So I have set my Instapot to saute, and I've got my liquid in there from the chicken, and to it I am adding a slurry of cornstarch. And I had cooked some carrots in chicken broth, so I mixed my cornstarch slurry using the ingredients from my carrots. Okay, so my gravy is getting nice and thick. I've got my chicken over here resting, and I'm going to whisk in a little bit of sour cream. And here is the final product. We have our faux rotisserie chicken, we have some gravy, and we have mashed potatoes with the necessary lumps and some creamed rainbow carrots. I know it all looks a little bit white, but hey, I'm Swedish. Until next time, have some good steamy food. Now, the nice thing about making rotisserie chicken is that you have all that chicken left over, because the two of us just can't eat one whole chicken in one sitting. So I have stripped the meat off the carcass, and I have it in a container in my refrigerator. And I think tomorrow night, enchiladas are in order.
Hi, and welcome to my presentation here. I am Iris Anita Wentworth, and I am going to make today everybody's favorite ham and bean soup. Now I know a lot of us work, we come home, we're tired, we want a good hearty meal on a cold winter's day. What's better than soup? And I'm going to show you how you can make it very quickly and efficiently. Just with things that a lot of people will either have on hand in their refrigerator or they will have in their freezer. We're going to start with a pound of navy beans, and you can also use Great Northern beans or any other kind of bean that you like. And we're just going to put them in our Instant Pot, and we're going to add 4 cans of just chicken broth. I'm just going to pour it right on in there. Alright, and then to this we're going to add a pound of chopped ham, and you can use leftover ham from your ham and bean soup. You can use whatever you want today. Just for ease, I'm using some pre-sliced ham. And then with that we're adding 2 cloves of garlic. We're adding about a half a cup of onion or half an onion. We're adding approximately a cup of carrots, which turned out to be 2 rather large carrots. And we are using a little bit of pepper, red pepper in here, as well as about a cup of celery. And we're just going to dump that right on in. And the carrots I'm using today are actually these lovely red carrots, purple carrots with a nice pretty yellow center to them. So we'll just go ahead and put that in there. And then I'm adding, I like a lot of pepper in my ham and bean soup, so I'm adding 2 teaspoons of coarsely ground black pepper and a teaspoon of salt. And we're going to put that in there. And then we're going to stir that around to make sure that it is well mixed. So we're just going to mix it up. Stir it up really well. And then we're going to take it over and put it in our Instant Pot. So we're going to open it up. And place our bowl in there. Now I always like to mix in my, the bowl, the center thing, separate from the pot so that I don't accidentally put stuff in the pot. I have the habit of doing it separately. Then we'll go ahead and place that in. We'll place our pot on. We're going to set it to the ceiling, and then we're going to set it on, I use the manual, and we're going to set it for 40 minutes. And then we're just going to let it do its thing. Now I know a lot of people are just a little bit afraid to cook with steam because it, you know, the old ones, they just would go poof if you did things wrong. But don't worry, your Instant Pot is safe and ready to go. But if you're still a little anxious, may I suggest a little bit of the wine here. We're going to pour ourselves a nice little glass of wine. And then, cheers! Sit back and enjoy and let your Instant Pot do the work. All right, we have now reached a point, ta-da, that our Instant Pot has done its 40 minutes of cooking, I'm sorry, 40 minutes of cooking. And then it has gone cool down for 20 minutes. Now we're going to release the steam from our Instant Pot because our little button's not down yet. Just going to take and slowly move it away. The wonderful sound of steam!
Steam!
So now our little red button has gone down, so it is ready to release. So we're going to release our Instant Pot and open the lid. Oh, what lusciousness awaits. And we're going to lift it out, put it on a nice trivet. And here we have our wonderful, delicious ham and bean soup, ready for dipping up and eating. It's absolutely wonderful.
Ooh, that looks good.
Mmm, nice and thick. Yum.
Great Scott! We're cooking with steam today. I'm Professor Hugo Winklesham, here to show you how to make teriyaki chicken. Very Asian, but I'm not Asian. But hang on, I'm going to show you the easy way to do this for you chefs that like to procrastinate when you cook. So, 2 pounds, 8 ounces of frozen chicken. Just pour it in there. Just put it in there. Oh, next we need a half a cup of soy sauce. Soy sauce. It's soy sauce. Oh, what else is there? Oh, it says low sodium. Yeah, who cares about sodium? Cooking. It's all good. Then you add in 3 tablespoons of honey. Sorry. No, and then 2 tablespoons of rice vinegar. Put that in there. Yes, oh, yes, get it all in there. Very good, very good. A tablespoon of garlic and a tablespoon of fresh minced ginger, which I've already prepared for you. So we're going to throw that in there too. Oh, let's see, we got the chicken in there. Salt and pepper, already got it there, ready to go. And a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper flakes to make it nice and spicy, because I heard some people around here love spicy stuff. And so you're going to give it a little stir, mix it all in there. Oh, but you know the thing I forgot to add? Pineapple juice. Pineapple juice. And see, we pour pineapple juice. And it wouldn't be cooking without steam if you have extra pineapple juice. So what do you do with extra pineapple juice? You get you a glass. You pour the pineapple juice in the glass. And of course we have Monty McAllister over there, the captain. He's sort of a steampunk pirate. So we have So now I go into my Julia Child voice, and we will be making teriyaki chicken with pineapple and rum. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, that is so wonderful. Now, let me get my Instant Pot. Oh, so many things. Yeah, it looks like it's all stirring up in there. Put the lid on. Oh, wait a minute, it's not. Oh, we probably should plug it in. We need power, more power. Oh, now, since I use frozen chicken breast, you have to, here's a note. You skip the searing on these. So you can sear, if you got them thawed out, you can sear them in there. But since I use frozen, I'm going to cook high on 11 minutes and allow it to cook, release that way. So, and if you do that, in the manual process, you do it for 7 minutes if you want to cook them searing. So we're going to put this on high, manual, for 11 minutes. I'll give it 12. And there's an on button somewhere. Or does it just go? Oh, it's going! We'll be back when it's done. Talk to you later. All right, we're back, and I think it's done. Yes, no steam coming out. Oh. This is when you get a nice facial. Yeah, okay. So we're going to take our chicken out because we need to thicken up the sauce. Uh-oh. It's falling apart.
That's a good thing, right?
It must be, yes. I hear it's falling off the bone, but these are boneless chickens, so... falling apart, probably a good thing, yeah. I guess that means it's done, right? Alright, so what I have done is I have taken a 1/4 cup of water and 3 tablespoons of cornstarch, mixed it in. Yeah, make sure it's all nice and pour that in to the sauce to help thicken it up. Ooh my, get it all in there. So, we will come back. I will plate it up for you for dinner. See you later. Alright, we're back. I have rice now. So, I'm going to plate up a little rice.
Professor, is it steamed rice?
Well, yes, it is steamed, but we didn't cook it in our Instapot. I was cooking a rice cooker by our esteemed Captain Monty there. I was like, oh, we're just kind of cheating today.
Well, it is cooking with steam. It is
still
rice.
steam.
It is a steamer. Steam.
So we got some chicken on there. I'll get another piece. We got plenty for everybody. Oh, we need a... Oh! You get the little sauce. How do you do little swirls? And a little green onion for garnish. And there you go. Dinner is served. Ta-da!
So one of the nice rewards of having our cooking with steam workshop is that we get to enjoy the spoils of our cooking. So everyone, slanchava.
Cheers!
Cheers.
And I got to say, audacia, scientia, adventum.
Daring, science, and adventure. Oh, and bon appetit! Come on!